Welcome back to just another podcast with Tyler the Comic. I'm here with Devon with Vaughn's Window Cleaning. How you doing today?
Good, man. Good, man.
Good, awesome. So now that the weather's clearing up, you've been getting pretty busy, right?
Oh yeah. Well, once spring hit, the 20th, we got booked until the middle of April, and we're just hoping that this momentum keeps up and we can stay busy.
And so, how long have you been doing window cleaning for yourself?
For myself, I've only been about 6 months. I
6
started
months.
my business about 6 months ago.
Wow.
And in the very beginning, we started in October. So, we were just about to hit winter. So that's a scary time for anybody that does anything outside.
Right.
And, I was worried at first that, oh, man, maybe this won't work or whatever. But I have a hustler mentality. So I just said, if I stay busy and I'm outside constantly just talking to people or knocking on doors or I'm at, storefronts and I'm just, constantly out there.
Hustling,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's from last year to this year, I'm in a pink blow up unicorn on the sign with a sign promoting the show. So I know what you mean about like door to door and getting out there.
You gotta be out there. If you're not out there, man, you ain't gonna make no money.
Yeah, absolutely. So so you've been doing it for for yourself for about 6 months. How where have you been to learn the experience to do it yourself?
Yeah, so I started off at Fish's Window Cleaning. Shout out to you guys. I did have to sign an NDA in the very beginning, so I had to wait.
No kidding.
I had to wait like 2 or 3 years before I can start my own business.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Understandable whenever you work for a business like that.
Yeah.
But they gave me the tools to know what I needed to do. So it taught me how to clean windows, how to
customer interactions,
customer service, being professional.
Do you have any other customer service like experience, like doing other things with customer service?
I started in the cannabis industry right when it started because I was very passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I was constantly talking to people about about products and things like that. I was in the lab.
Because
I
you're
was
passionate
growing.
about it.
I was doing all the things. I started off as a bud tender, so you're talking to people all the time. But I went all the way to the lab, and like I said, just the corporation of things in the industry unfortunately pushed me away. The state changes things, very often. So it's one of those things where I just,
absolutely
didn't want to be in it anymore. And like I knew that I needed to do something by myself. I knew that I needed to be out on my own
and be your own boss.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
that's the hardest part is having somebody above you telling you what to do all the time. So, that's why I did it. I was just so burnt out where I was at, and I was like, what can I do? What do I know that I'm 100% good at, and this is gonna make me money? Just didn't know, if it was going to work out, but it did, I just knew that I had to stay with it.
And so who was your first customer? How was that go? Like, was it someone you knew? Was it a total stranger?
Yeah, so the total stranger, I made, ad on Facebook and, just posted on Facebook. And it's a brand new restaurant, T-Rock Thai in the Shaw neighborhood. And she reached out. And she's like, hey, I got these dirty windows. And I was like, let me just come look at it. I did. Yeah. So she was the first person, and kind of got me out there. Then when I was already out, in the Shaw neighborhood, might as well knock on their neighbors,
right?
Go see what's up. So I from there to South Grand, we probably have 25% of South Grand right now that we're doing, and that was just from us going out and sorry, Fish, we ain't trying to take your business, but hey, this is what we had to do. We had to go out there and show like this is what we do. This is our quality of work. Compared to other places, in our prices too. So our prices are, matchable, but our quality is very top. So,
so you mentioned about the quality. Is there more than just you working for yourself? How many people do you have?
So right now I only got one employee.
Okay.
I plan to stick with that for this full year.
Yeah.
If we do get busy, we're just gonna hustle it out. Next year, I'm hoping to have somebody that's doing just route work, and then me and my employee now are going to continue doing residentials and making the big money. So
because for the most part, it's once you get on a routine, it's kind of like your schedule. Like this week we got to do this place, this week we got to do this place. So do you like residential versus commercial, or which one do you like?
So we love the hustle of commercial. Because in and out, you're talking to people all the time, storefronts. It's just it's more fun in my opinion. Residential, when it gets more serious, you got to be careful. Not just about what you're doing, but what you say, everything. There's always eyes on you. So that's definitely, I love residential though, I do. Just because it's one of those things when you see like a real dirty house and you're like, you get it clean, you're like, wow, you could, birds about to fly through that window.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, have you had any funny experiences or weird things, whether it's being up and seeing something in a window or just a customer?
Lots of funny dogs for sure.
Really?
When you're up in 2-story windows and you're like, just clean the window and here comes a dog charging at the window.
Oh, wow.
Scares you a little bit, but it's, that. We haven't run into nothing crazy yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will.
You almost kind of be like, that one's for the books. Got to save
Yeah,
that for
exactly.
later.
Yeah, for sure. Not quite yet though, but I'm sure, like I said, we'll get there.
And with working with windows, you're up very high. Are you comfortable on a ladder? Comfortable
Yeah,
up
so
heights?
not necessarily. You know, people ask me that all the time. That's why I have my employee.
Yeah.
So you know, he's my ladder guy.
Yeah.
I've been 30 foot up on a ladder myself personally. It's
Yeah.
just not for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm cool with 2-story houses. Anything higher than that, Dustin, thank you so much.
Yeah, I was telling you a little bit before. I would clean dryer vents, and they're all up on the roof, all that stuff in the attic. Like I could get in the attic, crawl around in the dark with a light, but the moment you put me on a ladder outside, I'm shaking. You know,
it's
and
a little different. Once you get up
Yeah.
high, you're like, oh man, one wrong move could be it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So what keeps you motivated in hustling? You know,
My family for sure. You know, I got a wife and a kid, a 6-year-old about to be 7. You know, they're my biggest motivation for sure. But money too. You know, people don't. You know, a lot of people be like, oh, it's just family. But I mean, let's be honest, it's money too. You know, we got to live out here, and things are hard right now. So
especially now, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, just keeping that momentum of the hustle and just being out there and making this money. You know, is going to keep me motivated. And if one month money stops, I don't stop. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna keep hustling. And
Absolutely.
keep going.
So I think we were talking briefly about your advertising. On Facebook and stuff. So how do you get your promotions and advertising out there?
Yeah, so Facebook has been huge right now. I'll pay for the ads sometimes. Sometimes I'll just make them and I'll just post them throughout the local stuff, and then I'll get other people that share. But Facebook's probably been the biggest this spring for sure.
Yeah.
I was using other apps like Thumbtack, and they're like service apps, and you pay for leads and things like that. But it gets expensive real fast, especially if you don't get the leads. So with Facebook, it's not very much money, and the overturn or whatever it's called.
The views for clicks or the turnover rate?
Or just like turnover rate for messages are way bigger than it was for Thumbtack. So I was like, I'm gonna run with this rather than paying for that, and it's been awesome. Another thing too is word of mouth and Festus. Like I said, Festus Main Street, I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys you've spread my name across Festus, and it's helped a ton. So
well, two things I wanted to say is the location, and then also where can people find you on Facebook? How can people find you?
Von's Window Cleaning on Facebook. You can find me there. Message me. We're doing 10% off the rest of the spring, and then I plan on doing something for the summertime. Something we didn't get into though, because a lot of people don't understand with window cleaning. They're like, oh, why should I get my windows cleaned or whatever the case may be. And we live in Midwest, and we have a lot of hard water. Not just that, we have a lot of minerals in the air. So once the water hits the air and it grabs all that dirt and then it hits the windows, you got all those deposits all over your windows. And if you don't clean them, within a year or two, you start getting stains, you start getting hard water spots, your seals start to crack. Another thing too people don't understand is whenever you have a traditional window cleaner like myself, we get up on ladders, we're looking at everything. We're looking at seals, we're looking at your guys' frames, we're looking at everything. So a lot of people that do water-fed poles, and this is not me talking down on water-fed poles or anything like that, they don't get up there, they don't get to see that. They have a pole that reaches up there, then hopefully your guys' seals aren't broken so your guys aren't getting flooded inside. But like I said, we get up there on the ladder, we look at everything, and then I come back inside and I say, hey, Miss Adams, you got a seal broken here, you got stains here from this, we can take care of it. It's just going to cost a bit more, whatever the case is. But being a traditional window cleaner, we get up there and we see all the problems rather than just kind of skipping over it and making the money. We want to make sure you guys' house is okay too, not just your windows. So,
because I have no idea what is a water-fed pole versus because I don't know.
Traditional. So what we do is we just have like a mop and a squeegee rather than a water-fed pole, which is ran from a hose to a pure water system, and then it's like a 20-foot pole they'll put up and they'll scrub the windows that way. It's great for residentials. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's very fast. It's just, you're
not seeing everything.
I'm not seeing everything. I like to be nose to the glass, so I know that I'm getting every single spec. Like I said, I'm being able to do inspections on their windows and saying, hey, man, you got this issue. You got to take care of it before it gets worse.
Absolutely. So. And you had mentioned Festus Main Street. So where do you kind of travel, like location-wise? Are you local or are you everywhere?
Yes, I'm everywhere. On my route days are Wednesdays for Festus, but our morning starts in South City. We go all the way to South City. We hit about 5 to 12, just depends on, because we have bi-weeklies and monthlies, so it depends on that. And then we come back south, we'll hit, Main Street, and then our day will be over on those days. But traveling wise, we travel up to an hour away from Festus. You know, south, west, east, it doesn't matter. So yeah, definitely give us a call if you guys are interested in something like that.
Just because you were talking about things with the air and stuff, is pollen a thing that
Huge.
that
So,
affects
yeah,
windows?
definitely. So soon, you guys will see pollen fall. Once pollen falls, it's gonna be all over your windows. A lot of people say, "Well, we get up there with our hose and wash it off." It still leaves deposits.
It sticks on there
It does.
really
It
good.
sticks. Yeah, so it leaves deposits. We use something called Quad Zero steel wool. People are like, "Oh my God, steel wool on a window?" It's Quad Zero. It doesn't scratch, no mini scratches, nothing like that, and it gets all the debris and all the dirt and pollen and hard water spots off. We also treat windows too, so a lot of people ask, well, it's going to rain. What's going to happen? A lot of our solutions are kind of like that, the rain guard stuff. So for cars.
For your cars, yeah.
Yeah. So when the water hits it, it kind of just beads off and runs off, and that lasts about 6 months. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for coming on here.
Yeah,
Is there? Can you let people know again where to contact you, your number and website, if any?
Yeah. So Vaughn's Window Cleaning on Facebook, and if you're looking for just a direct number, 314-305-3334. My name's Devon, and I thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.